Okay, so this is nothing but the arrays in Python. যারা সি এর যদি অ্যারেতে কিছু কনফিউশন হয় তাহলে কিছু কিছু ভিডিও মনে হয় আপলোড করা আছে বা হচ্ছে, সেই ভিডিওগুলো যদি তোমরা দেখে নাও তাহলে ওখানে তোমার হচ্ছে করে নিও, ওটা যদি দেখে নিও। যারা সি এর ভিডিওতে একটু প্রবলেম আছে বা পয়েন্টার্সে একটু প্রবলেম আছে, তারা ওই ভিডিওগুলো একটু একটু করে আপলোড হচ্ছে, সেগুলো একটু একটু করে দেখে নিও। কারণ এখানে পাইথনের অ্যারেতে আমি জাস্ট অ্যারেটুকু বলবো, কারণ তোমার ওটা আছে, তোমার হচ্ছে অত ডিটেলসে এখন বলা দরকার নেই, কারণ যেটা অলরেডি বিন কভার্ড হয়ে গেছে সেটা তোমরা দেখে নেবে। So the thing is that, what do you mean by array? I think you know that array, that is a linear data structure which stores the homogeneous data element in contiguous memory locations. That means the number that has been stored in an array, that should be same. That means if this is integer, that should be integer, or if this is float, should be float, like that. So that means array is behaving like that, and the structure of array, that will not change. That means structure means the properties. So the thing is that in that particular Python program, we can just use the concept of an array, and in that particular case you can say that array is an object. What do you mean by object? Any physical existing quantity that is called an object. We will see it later in details, but in that case you can say differently that an array is an object that stores a group of elements or values of the same data type. And what are the main advantages? I think you know that. What are the corresponding main advantages of an array? That means if you want to access an element from an array, that will take you order of 1. That means by using pointers in C, we can access any element randomly from an array. Whereas since in that particular semester system you have a subject which is data structure, and in data structure you already, I think you already learned the linked list. In case of linked list, the problem of an array that has been solved, but the random access that will take order of 1 in case of an array. In case of a linked list, that will take order of n, right? Because in case of linked list, you always have to start from the head. So that's why whenever you want to access some element, whenever you have to access some element, you will always start from the head. So that's why that will take order of n. That is the thing. So in that particular case, how can we import an array? So advantages of an array. That means arrays are similar to the list, but the difference is huge. The main difference is the array cannot store only one type of elements, whereas list can store different types of elements. So when you are dealing with a huge number of elements, array use less memory than list, and they offer faster executions than list. And the size of an array, that is not fixed in Python, hence we need not to specify how many elements we are going to store into an array in the beginning. In C, we have to write like that integer a5, that means maximum you can store 5 elements. But in case of Python, you cannot cannot write that particular thing. An array that can grow or shrink in memory dynamically. That means during runtime, the array can grow or shrink. And of course, the arrays are useful to handle, collection of element or group of numbers, like group of characters. So since we have already discussed that the array can hold the data of the same type, this type should be specified by using a type code at the time of creating the array object, like that what I am writing there, this I, right? In that case, I import this array module as arr. You can write arr, or you can write a, whatever be the thing. So I am creating an array with integer type. So I am just written here I. This I means that is nothing but, you know, signed integer. This is signed integer. So the thing is that now if we just want to print the content of the array, you just see that I'm just writing a for loop I in range from 0 to 2 and print the element of an array, and I'm just giving end for representing it clearly. So you can say that will be printing like that 1 2 3, that will be printing like that 1 2 3, because that is the integers numbers. So now if you can change it like that, say I can change it like decimal, then I have to run this. So if I'm doing like that, D means that will give you the double precision floating point. And there are lots of things. The table has been given here, that if you write something, what is the meaning of that particular uh, thing. So that means the main thing that you have to observe, you have to specify the type code, right? That will, like I in the previous case, where I that will represent integer type array where we can store integer number. If the type code is F, then it represents float type array where we can store numbers with decimal point, right? So that are the things you can think of that. This is an array, and you just see when I am just converting it into, this double precision floating point, it should be 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. That is the same thing that. So that means you just remember one thing, that since the array can hold data of the same type, so the type should be specified when by using a type code at the time of creating the array object, right? So these are the thing. B means signed integer, capital B unsigned integer, like that, like that. Now the question is how to adding elements in an array. Adding elements. So uh, that means you want to add element. Here I am using, in the previous case, import array as array. So there are two ways of to import the array module in our program. The first way is to import the entire array module using the import statement like import array. So when we import the array module, then we are able to get the array class. We will see it later. When you are able to import this array module, we are able to get the array class of that module that helps us to create an array. Like a, or you can also importing. You can also import like that. You can also write the from, array import, you know star. By using that, you can also import the array module. Here uh, we are using this symbol star that represent all. That means the meaning of this statement, that means import all classes, object, variable, etc., etc., from the array module into our program. That means we are specifically importing the array class of array module. So there is no need to mention the module name before our array name, right? So like that. So you can also declare like that. It is also another procedure by which you can declare that particular thing. So uh, what I am talking about, I am talking about the adding element in an array. That means you want to add element in an array. So when you have to add element, you want to add element, that can be, there is a built-in functions, you just see, that is called insert. By using this insert functions, you know you can add one or more elements, right? So so in that particular case, if you see, I am just this is the corresponding array 1 2 3. I am printing the value of the array 1 2 3. Then I am inserting a dot insert. I am using this particular functions 1 4. That means the particular elements has been already inserted into this array. That's a simple thing. You just go through then you will understand. That is, after insertions, you just see the element should be added. If you want to access some element, I already used this particular operator, that is called slicing operator. This is a third bracket. When I'm giving something in the third bracket, that means if you want to access particular elements or set of elements from an array, so we can use this slicing operator. By using this slicing operator, I can access element from the array. Like that, you just see, uh, I just creating an array which contain 1 2 3 4 5 6. I want to just access the element a0, so I can access the first value of an array. A3 means you can say 0 1 2 3, this particular location array with the float type we are declaring, and using the same thing, that means b1 b2 whatever be the given, we can do the same thing. So that's the thing. And also, if you want to remove the array, there is a built-in remove functions, but an error arises if element does not exist in the set. So remove method only remove one element at a time. And to remove range of element, you can use the iterator. Like pop functions. Pop means, I think you just heard the name stack. In stack, you are using pop means you are just deleting an element from the top of the stack. And similarly, in that case of an array, you can delete the element by using this particular pop function. So the thing is that here you just see, if I want to this is a pop2, that means that particular element is been deleted. Either you can use the remove first occurrence of one, you can use array dot remove array dot pop, and by using that you can remove this. This is a simple thing, and this is the example of the slicing of an array what I am talking about. That means if we use colon, we already seen it, or if I want the whole array in the reverse order, I can use colon colon minus 1. That are the different techniques that has been written here. Like that, if I want to access the element from third locations to seventh locations, then I can write like that. This is a slicing operator. From fifth locations to the last location, that can be done by using this slicing operation. This will print all element using slicing operation. You can print all element by using this slicing operation. So that particular, by using this array, we can do that thing by using this procedure. And if we want to search an element in an array, there is also a built-in functions that is called index method. Index is nothing but a method. By using that functions actually return the first occurrence. You just mind that first occurrence of the value. That means it may be possible 1 2, then again 1. Then if I searching for 1, that means that will give you the first occurrence of 1, that particular location. That means I'm just giving an array. This is the 0 2 3 1 2 5, and I can just print it by using the same. And this is the array dot index, that will give you the first occurrence of 2. That means 2 is occurred here also. It is also occurred here, but that will give you the first occurrence of 2. So the first occurrence of 2, you just see, the first occurrence of 2, that will give you at location 1. That is the thing that has been uh, you know that has been given here. So the first occurrence of 2, this is a 0th position, this is the 1 position, so that will give you 1. So the thing is that or you can, if you can update elements in an array, you can simply reassign a value. That means I'm just writing array 2 equals to 6, what you actually did in C. That is a similar way. That means automatically this particular thing will be stored uh, at that particular location. In that case also, you are updating an element in an array, like array 4 is equals to 8. That means 8, that value, particular value should be stored at the location 4. So that are the different thing if you want to update. So that are the two programs that you have to do. Actually today is not, I don't have a time because uh, I think I have a meeting with the code chef. So the thing is that, but you should do this two problem. We will see it in the next class, that a Python program to short, uh, you know using bubble sort technique, you can say. So using bubble sort technique, and you have to search it. But the main thing, that means you just see that when you declare an array, what is the problem? The thing is that uh, the problem is that there are lots of things you have to mention, like you have to mention the type, then for updating there are some functions, for inserting there are some functions, all those stuffs are there. So actually there is a package, there is a package, that particular package, the name of this particular package, that is nothing but NumPy, right? NumPy. You just see the name, that is called, NumPy. NUMPY. That NumPy, that is a package that contains several classes, functions, variables to deal with scientific calculations in Python. To deal with scientific calculations in Python. That means when you are you did some, it may be possible that after some days you are familiar with machine learning and you do program with machine learning. You need this particular package, because this particular package is built up such that we can deal several numerical problems easily by using this NumPy package. So that means this NumPy is useful to create and also process single and multi-dimensional, arrays. And in addition, you can think this NumPy contains a large library of mathematical functions, specifically for the linear algebra functions, Fourier transform. That defined mathematical functions is already been written in the NumPy package. You can, there are packages list. So the thing is that, so you can just, I'm written here that digital images, you can say how you can use the NumPy package. Whether you know or don't know, I am doubt about that. But the thing is that whenever in any image, like means the electronic student, the electrical student also do some research problem using the images, and also the engineering student also do the same thing. But the viewpoint is different for the two different students. The EC and electronic students see the image as a signals. That's why they can apply different biomedical application, digital signal processing type of thing within the image. And the computer engineering student, they actually see the image as a two-dimensional matrix where the pixels value are ranges from 0 to 255. The pixels values are ranges from 0 to 255. So that means they are not, they are not thinking that okay, this image is like that. They are just thinking that image is nothing but a two-dimensional matrix, and they do every operations on the images and think as a matrix. That means whenever you are input an image, they just forget about the image, they just take the data from that, and data is nothing but a two-dimensional matrix. So what will happen, they just do some operations, whether you are contrasting an image, or whether you are, amplify, or you are just creating something within the image, like that. In your mobile app there are lots of things you did actually. You are brightening the images, you are contrasting the images, there should be some negative images. All you did by using this simple linear algebraic functions. That means whenever you write, you just insert an image. This is a two-dimensional matrix, and if you want to make it as a negative image, that means that particular thing should be converted into either 0 and 1. If the matrix of the color image, if you can convert it into the combinations of zeros and 1, it is nothing but a black and white image. The thing is that if you think like that, then this particular numerical Python, NumPy means numerical Python, that that provides an efficient interface to store, operate, manipulate all in the different linear algebraic functions. So the thing is that that is the importance. That means that is not in Python, that if you are doing with mm, some, you know if you are handling data, uh, machine learning data, numerical Python is also helpful there. So in that case, in your program you can see that numerical Python, that means you can say that what should be the version. If I am running this, that will give you the versions, that means the latest versions that this particular Google Colab is using, that is 1.19.5. And uh, that particular conventions, first what you have to do, you have to import NumPy as MP. It's not about NP, you can write in your name also, but you have to import this particular NumPy, you can packages, right? So the first thing I want to mention is that in Python, in C, if you see in C, what will happen, uh, if I'm written x equals to 4, and I am written x equals to 4. This 4 is a numerical integer value, and this 4 is a string. So if I am written like that, integer x equals to 4, and then I am written x equals to 4, that will fail, right, in C. But in Python that will not fail. The reason behind that, that that Python integer is more than just integer. That means the standard Python implementations is written in C. That means every Python object is simply a cleverly disguised, you can say, C structure. That means which contains not only its value but other informations as well. Like that, when we define an integer in Python like x equals to 10,000, x is not just a raw integer, it's actually a pointer to a compound C structure that is internally, that has been stored. If you see the documentation sections of the Python, you will see that this object, that means how the integers or data will be stored. That means whenever you write an integer, internally it will call a compound C structures, and that will happen. So that's why in some cases the Python will give you the slower result because of that particular reason, because internally that will call some C structure, and since you want to know this is a dynamically typed data structure, so dynamically typed data type, so what will happen, the thing that will happen is nothing but is to call something compound C structure, that makes the Python slower. So in competitive programming, you can use Python, but it will be always been better if we do the competitive programming by using C++ or, you know, mm, or the thing is Java. But the thing is that, okay, well and good, no problem. If you can do it Python, that's well and good. But if you know C++, it will always been better if we do the program by using C++. So now the thing is that when you are using this NumPy package, when you using this NumPy package, the package itself gives you some, you know, some inbuilt functions, and by using inbuilt functions we can do uh, the array declarations, or if we manipulate something, that can be done very easily. Like a I'm just using, like you just see np dot array 14. This particular array is np means I am calling this import numpy as np, and then I am just creating an integer array like np dot array that will be created. That means in that particular case I am not mentioning any data type, and you just see here I am written 3.14 and all the rest are not in integer, but actually they automatically convert it like that. That means this, since the first one is a float, so it will take the higher data type, and 4.2 point 3 point it would be stored like that. So there are several procedure, nothing more than that. uh, if I am taking the data type as float 32, that will be taken as a float. So uh, nested list, that means in case of multi-dimensional two-dimensional array, I want to print like that. Like you can say np dot array range, that is from I to I plus 3 for I in 2 4 6. That means I am taking 2, then I am incrementing the value 2 to 3 to 3 to 4, then again I am taking 4, then 4 I am incrementing I plus 1 to I plus 2, because range, that means I to I plus 2. That is the thing. So if I am taking I as a 4, I plus 1 is 5 and I plus 2 is 6. Again I am taking 6. That means 6 plus 1 is 7. 7 plus 1 is 8. So that I can print it easily like that. So in NumPy, there are several things are written like that. If I am writing in np dot zeros 10 data type integer, then that will print an array containing 0. Like you just see create an 3 cross 5 floating point array filled with 1. So I am just writing np dot ones, np dot ones 3 5, then it will print like that. np dot full 3 5, this is the array and the content is 3.4 14. So that will helpful. It may be by seeing that you can think that okay, that is a very easy thing, but the thing is that when you are doing some big operations in machine learning, then you have to use this or linear algebra functions. There are, there are some built-in functions range. You know that np dot a range, that will already create an array with the content. Or you can an array of 5 values that will be evenly spaced between 0 to 1. So I can just create like the 0 to 1, that will be divided into 5 parts, so 0 0.25 0.5 0.75 to up to 1. You can create uniformly distributed random variable. That means I am just, they will take the random functions, and normally Gaussian random functions, they will take in that particular thing. But the main thing is that by using this random, they will just create a random, random values. Random values means that will be depending on the random Gaussian functions, and that should be random values between zeros and 1 that has been print. So on normal functions, you can use the normal. That means if you want to create an array with the normal distributions functions, then that can be done. This 0 is the mean, this 1 is the, this one is the standard deviation. If you change the mean and standard deviation, that is a totally statistical oriented thing. So that will be helpful when you are dealing with linear algebra or machine learning problems, or that type of things, lots of things. This is identity functions, empty. So there are different types of in that particular, this particular lectures, the different types of what we can do with the NumPy array, how the data will be manipulated by using NumPy array, that has been clearly written. I tried to write all the things that has been actually used by the NumPy, but you know that if simple package also contain lots of methods, functions, all those stuffs. So I can just print you the sum of the thing, like if you want to print the dimensions, I can print like that. If you want to print the shape, if I want to print the size, that can be print like that. This is nothing but the NumPy, packages, NumPy packages. So like a array index, I can access this x1, x1, 0 like that. And if I want to access from the end, I can just use -1. -1 means I can access from the end. And also I can access like that in multi-dimensional array. You just see this is simple as a C, 2 0 locations, 2 - 1 locations like that. And also slicing can be done uh, in a similar way. I just use np.arrange and 10, then the array has been created. And then I am just using the slicing functions to see how the element will be picked up by using this slicing. So I think that particular part is already known to you, and if you just go through the notes, I am sure that you just understand the thing what is written there. And multidimensional slice works also in the same way. You just see that is already been written here. We are not uh, going in details because it is there is a wastage of time, because the thing is that is very easy, that is already been written. And if you just go through this, you will understand that what the NumPy can do. That means that is already, if you don't understand anything after running this particular thing, then you can tell me in the next class that that particular part is not understandable by you, then we can just explain it. So that is also different types of operations of an array, like that reshaping of an array. You just reshape an array. uh, mm, that means this is the thing we want to do that. That means shape this particular attribute, and this particular attribute shape, shap, this particular attribute give the shape of an array. A shape means this is nothing but a tuple listing the number of elements along each dimensions. Dimensions means along the axis. So there are different types of things, like you can say we already saw in dimension, size, item size, d type. And this reset method that actually useful to change the shape of an array, change the shape of an array. That means the new array should have the same number of elements as in the original array. That means say mm, if I'm using this reshape method, let say, okay, if I'm going there, where is the reshape? Say in that particular thing, say you just say that I'm just written array 1 is equals to a range, 10, and I just want to print it, print array 1. So the thing is that, oh, arrange, because the thing is that I have to declare this np thing. So this is the corresponding array of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now if I consider the code snippet like that, I'm just changing a something. You will understand what do you mean by reshape. The element will not be changed, but it will shape will be changed like that. Say array 1 equals to array 1 dot, I'm just reshaping the reshape it, say 2 comma 5, that means 2 rows and 5 columns. I want to write like that, and this is something print, array 1. If I am just reshaping it, that means it looks differently, right? You just see the element will not change, but I am just reshaping. That means the output, if you change it, this 5 rows and 2 columns, then it will again, you can say, reshaping the thing like that. If I am changing it to 5 columns and 2 rows, right? 5 rows and 2 columns, then it will be, you can, just a minute, that will be like that. You just see, I'm just reshaping the thing. So it's nothing but that. So there are a functions. This is nothing but a, you can say, method that has been useful to change the shape of an array, and that has already been written in the NumPy. So you can say there are also a method that is called flatten. That is, you can say, uh, flatten method. In that case of flatten method, that is useful to return a copy of the array collapsed into one dimensions. That means, say I am saying this array 1 equals to, you can say, np dot array. You can say I'm just written a uh, 2 dimension. This is 1, 2, 3, and say 4, 5, 6. Say 4, 5, 6. This is a 2 dimension array. Now, if I want to print it array 1, so I think it will print this. Well and good. Now, what I want to do, I want to flatten. That means in case of reshape, one dimensional array is there and you just convert it into a 2 dimension array. But in that case, I just want to flatten it. That means array 1 equals to array 1 dot flatten, FLATEN, that is the thing, and I'm just print this particular array, this one. So if you just see, it will just flatten. That means one dimension, uh, you know, that will just make a 2 dimensions to 1 dimension. It will display the following output. That's the thing. So there is a method that is called flatten, and that will also work like that. So that is nothing but the NumPy you can use. There are lots of Google materials are there. NumPy, you can do lots of things by using NumPy. I'm just not tell you that you should remember all those methods, but at least you should uh, deal with the basic problems using NumPy. Like, uh, in that particular, you just see, I'm saying, there is a shape is a method, type is a method. Shape will give you the shape, type is give you the elements, lots of things. That particular thing, zeros mean zero, that thing are given like that. So you can also do like that. There are some method, there are mean method, there are standard deviation. So you just these three things you will see in the next class. It is already been written, but try to do by your own. That you have to use a NumPy program to find common values between two arrays. and write NumPy programs to sum of all multiples of 3 or 5 below 100, and also the NumPy program to find the k smallest value of a given NumPy array. You just use the NumPy package and do it. So that means there are two, the home tags. One is the linear search, one is the bubble sort. That is, you can use normal array, and by using this NumPy package, you have to do these three problems. And if you are interested, there is a link of a particular code shape problem. You can also try to solve this particular problem and tell me in the next class that what is the meaning of them. You should explain the problem first, then we will discuss the solutions what you are thinking about. If you are you can just think of that. So since the meeting will be started within 5 minutes, so the thing is that I think that particular part is clear to all of you, and you just go through the notes that is given. I think the rest of the part should be clear.